Orange, and Old Harbor seal, died this week at the Norwalk Maritime Aquarium. The aquarium made a big deal of Orange's prognosticating abilities, but Orange was 2-7 at predicting Super Bowl winners. Her flippers were worse than a coin flip. I preface my comments about political polls by acknowledging that all the polls I'm talking about are slightly better than Orange the seal. The Yale political science course I taught this year contained a section called "How a Poll is Like a Chicken." I told my students, these days, you tend to ask questions about a chicken before you buy it. Free range, antibiotics, access to a lab pool. With a poll, you want to know whether your chicken is a registered voter, likely voter, or just a carbon-based life form. Let's say you roast your chicken. If we're honest and not vegan, we also know that a chicken will reward a certain amount of probing for tidbits. Some of us enjoy rooting around in raw data that some pollsters share, especially so-called crosstabs, which break out votes by ethnicity, income and education level. We like the Quinnipiac poll, because the data is high-grade, and they share a lot of it. There are no Q polls lately in Connecticut, nor are there polls from other traditional pollsters such as media companies or universities. It's a national problem. Good polls cost money, and the money is not there during the primaries. Nature abhors a vacuum, so less preferable polls come floating along. Full disclosure, on Tuesday, I learned that 3 good newspapers, including this one, reported on a poll by Tremont Public Advisors. I had never heard of this poll. My father was a real estate agent who always headed right for the basement when first viewing a house, often leaving his perplexed clients to admire the granite countertops upstairs. His theory, the basement held all the important information. I'm the same way about polls, if I don't recognize their creators. I looked at the Tremont methodology and didn't like it. I checked Tremont's website and saw it was a lobbying firm. I wrote a quick Facebook post criticizing the poll. I found out later that Tremont is basically Matt Hennessy, former Hartford Mayor Eddie Perez's chief of staff. After some mildly unpleasant back and forth with Hennessy, I decided to take the post down and start over. Here is what Hennessy told me. Tremont's polls start with web intercept surveys. Those are the things that pop up and tell you can't read an article until you answer some questions. Personally, I'll click on boxes admitting to some role in the Kennedy assassination just to get rid of them. It appears Tremont isn't screened for registered or likely voters, making their sample only slightly more useful to me than those gifs of cats pounding away at laptops. Hennessy's poll was not conducted at the behest of any candidate. But that brings us to internal polls. These are polls released or selectively leaked by campaigns. Nate Silver, the demigod of data science, says that you should sort of bet against internal polls if you have the option of reputable public polls. This is why I'm not telling you the results of the Robert Bob Stefanowski poll released on Wednesday. I purposely haven't read it. I also didn't read the full Tremont poll, although I absorbed the idea that it favored Republican candidate Aaron Stewart. I don't want my head cluttered with data I don't trust. Why buy a chicken that ate junk food? Would you bet based on a tip from Orange the seal? Supposedly, she was better at film awards. Really? She saw The Artist Oscar coming in 2012? I didn't. And I get out more than an aquarium seal. Editor's note: this column has been edited for clarity regarding polling methodology. Colin McEnroe appears from 1 to 2 p.m. Weekdays on WNPR FM 90.5. He can be reached at colin@wnpr.org.